Well, thank you so much for taking this time to come and talk with us, Sebastian. And, we'll start with, how about you give a little introduction to our audience?
Of course. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you. And my name is Sebastiaan van der Lans. I founded one of the first WordPress agencies in the Netherlands, and it's called Van Ons. Mm-hmm. With a team of 25, we work for the biggest media companies. Our DNA is, I'm a nerd, my co-founder is a nerd, so if everything is really technical on WordPress level, it often escalates to us. So we did second screens for television programs, donation sites for good causes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's what we do. And we work with WordPress for more than 11 years. The company exists for 12 and a half years. Of course, I started to make my own CMS. I'm a nerd. Then we discovered WordPress, one of the first CMS with a what you see is what you get editor.
Oh, wow.
And by then it was mind-blowing that as an entrepreneur or journalist, I didn't need that programmer to publish on the internet. By then it was mind-blowing with the ease of Microsoft Word. So that's where I came from.
That's wonderful. So what does 100% open source sort of means for you?
What we see, there's something special with WordPress. WordPress is a community, but the market share of WordPress is 1/3 of the web. So it's one of the things where a community is bigger than any corporate in the world. We do 33.4. Joomla, the number 2, does only 3%. So we're 10 times bigger than the number 2. Okay. The number 1 commercial does 1.4%. It's Squarespace. Nice. We're more than 20 times, it's 22 times bigger than the number 1 commercial solution. So there's something really special on WordPress. And what I will talk on in my talk is from WordPress to blockchain. The future will be 100% open source. And in a 3-step journey, I want to discover how to use the transparency and the openness and the progression from the WordPress community. What can we learn from that to operate not only websites, but also companies and finance and everything else in the world?
Right. That's so great and so motivating and encouraging.
I've started with blockchain, 2013, investing Bitcoin, blah, blah. I won't talk about investing or money or that's not what I will talk about.
Right.
I want to talk about the technology. Blockchain is open source technology, and that technology makes it possible to program with transfer.
Right.
So when the right people who understand open source will work with a technology which can do more than publishing,
I see.
That could change the world.
Right.
And that's what I have goosebumps every time I think about it, but that's what we talk about.
Your passion clearly comes out, and I think everyone should have that, right? If you have that passion on the things that you're doing, I mean.
It makes the work much more easy, and I've now a team of 4 working full time on WordPress and blockchain tools.
Oh, that's amazing!
Yeah,
that's amazing. One of the things you and I were talking about just before we started recording this was about the timestamp, and you showed me a very quick video which was mind-boggling. I mean, it was a 1.5-minute video, but it's so simple to understand. Can you tell our audience a little bit more about that? And
of course,
what made you make that video? And
we thought of, hey, how can we be blockchain and crypto? It doesn't have a good name. The associations are speculation, blah. And what we try to do is, hey, what is a really small and useful use case where you don't need any money or anything of value? Content is a thing of value, but where you don't need money.
Okay.
And the first idea we came up with is timestamping. Timestamping your content in the blockchain.
Right.
It's like bringing it to a notary, but then it doesn't take time and it doesn't cost money.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And we are not the first one making time-stamping tools for WordPress, but we do it with a blockchain which is really fast and which you have no transaction fees on. So in a matter of seconds, you can timestamp your content, and it's in the blockchain, and your visitor can then check if the content is changed. And what we say, or what a lot of people in the blockchain world say, is if you don't timestamp your content in 5 years from now, you'll be considered to fraud. Nice. People will think, hey, what do you have to hide?
Right.
You can do that with terms and conditions. Hey, you prove that you didn't tamper with them, but also with content. Nowadays we say, hey, the internet, information from the internet,
Right.
you can't trust it. It's the internet, right?
Right,
But
right.
we can make the shift to a world where we can trust content, where we can see, hey, it's timestamped. Someone takes responsibility and accountability for it.
Right.
So imagine, for example, a journalist and not using another article as a source, but using a revision, a specific revision of an article. That will be a tooling in the world of fake news where we live in.
Right, right. And especially in this day and age where, everybody has access to technology and we just don't know what's out there is right or wrong. So a follow-up question to that is, how would your SEO, if I timestamp my content, how would that, would the SEO be affected? Like how does that work?
I will personally fight to make timestamping a web standard.
Okay.
As we are writing a web standard. I talked with Joost already about it. It was actually one of his ideas.
Okay.
What Google, if I ask Joost, hey, what is the best SEO strategy? He always tells me, after installing Joost, of course, the technical should be good.
Right.
But after that, Google cares about one thing. Who's the best result? So the best strategy is be the best high quality result.
Right.
And in 2011 or 2012, we asked ourselves, hey, making my website mobile or responsive, does that matter or does it affect my search engine rank? We all know how it ended because now they have a separate index for mobile. So it matters because it's better accessibility and better quality search result. Then in 2017, we asked ourselves, HTTPS, does it affect my search result?
Right.
And guess what? It did.
It does,
Even they're saying not secure if you don't.
I know.
Because it's more secure, so it's a better quality search result. And then the question back to you: if content is timestamped, so you can show that you didn't tamper with it, and that it's maybe even tied to identity, does that make the search result a higher quality search result?
Right.
Answer could be yes.
Yes. Okay. That's very encouraging. That the standards for these things, the bar is getting higher and higher, and I think that's how the progress will be made. Right?
And it's about the standards getting higher, and it's about we're in a world with some problems with content. We have plagiarism, but we have the fake news. People are hardly taking responsibility for their content.
Right.
And when we think further about the topic, for example, hey, you have duplicated content, but now we can prove to a search engine, hey, I allowed this party to make the content duplicate because I gave them a license with it, for example. So you can be totally transparent on a fair way.
I see. So I know you initially when you introduced yourself, you said I'm a nerd, right? And I totally get that in this community. The WordCamp Europe actually launched. I think this was the first time they launched this mindfulness, wellness kind of thing. What do you think that, what is the impact of that? Is it important from your point of view?
Well, it's a great question. Once I started with WordPress, my life changed because it made bridges between topics, between developers and entrepreneurs, and they could all work together with one tool. If you have an idea for a new venture, you can make a proof of concept really fast with the plugins there are, and then you iterate and make it better. That's, in my opinion, what an open source world should look like.
Right.
Once I went down the rabbit hole in the open source WordPress world, I didn't sleep anymore for months. And that's what happened with blockchain as well.
Right.
It's a whole new dimension because we can bring the openness and transparency to everything else in the world. So I needed something like meditation. And so in 2016, I watched a talk. It was a Google talk from John Kabat-Zinn about meditation and mindfulness. And from that day, I did Headspace with Andy, the voice. It's an amazing app. And now I do meditation every morning, 20 minutes.
Wow.
I skipped only 5 days the last 2 years.
Wow, that's pretty commendable, though, to do it so regularly.
I need it to get in sleep. It helps to clean up the mess. And you saw the video. Maybe we can put a part of the video in the thing.
Yes.
if you listen to the voice of the video, the voiceover,
Yes.
we tried to find a voice like Andy.
Yes.
Because
very
it's
calm and
and
centered. Yes.
so I think it's a great way, for me it's a great way to keep me grounded.
Mm-hmm.
So I can work 80 hours on WordProof, on the project, because I do meditation on a regular basis.
You know, thank you so much for sharing that, because I know that it's a very tight-knit community, but people are sort of in their own head, right? And I do think that it's very important, and to hear from someone like you that you actually religiously practice it every morning. I think it's
Can I share another story with you?
Yes, please do.
Because I have kind of the privilege. I have 25 people, 25 employees, so I don't have to work 50 hours a week to survive.
Yes.
So and then I got some time to get started with meditation and stuff like that. But where I want to go is to really work open source or invest time in open source. Mm-hmm. Mostly the people, or they have to do it in their evenings or in the weekends, or working really hard. It's adding up in the calendar.
Right.
Or you have to be financially free before you can really add or create software.
Right.
I co-organized meetups and WordCamps for years in the Netherlands with the great people in the Netherlands. Right. But we started to contribute to the software only 3 years ago. We did the WordPress GDPR compliance plugin. 1.2 million downloads. I saw that yesterday, so that's cool.
Congratulations!
Thanks on that. And but it's actually sad that we needed to be financially free before we can add 60, 70 grand in developing something like that. And how we funded WordProof is with, that's one of the great things on the blockchain space we can bring to the WordPress space. It's a worker proposal. So from an inflation in blockchain, it's not big, but it's thousands a month.
Right.
So we can say, hey, I have a great idea. The democracy, the people in the blockchain can vote on that idea. And then I can get, for example, $5,000 to get the project started. And what that makes a shift from in inclusivity.
Right.
Now, not only the software is inclusive, so everyone has access to the best software, but also the production could be inclusive. Everyone with a great idea could send in a worker proposal.
Oh wow!
So I'll share a link with you.
Yes,
it's
please do.
on it's a Telos blockchain. It's one of the blockchains, but they have a worker proposal system for inclusive funding.
Oh, that's wonderful!
I wrote an article about it. It's it's if you need 1,000 or 2,000 and you have a WordPress blockchain-ish thing, think about it. And I'd love to share things about this.
Yeah,
I don't care about competition. It's really it will push open source forward.
Yes, whatever you want to share that you think will be valuable for our listeners, please send it to us, and we'll make sure to put the link when we put out the video.
One more small thing then, because we developed with the EOS.io blockchain. That's one of the blockchains, but it's open source and it's like WordPress. Everybody can spin up their own instance, so it's as open as WordPress is. And what we did, there's a guy and two guys, and they made a course about the EOS.io programming, but then focused on how you as a web developer could get started with it. And what we did, we partnered with them. So you can, from the WordProof timestamp plugin, there's a tab, Learn Blockchain.
I see.
And you can follow the course for free. It's about 63 hours of blockchain development, totally focused on how you as a web developer could work with it.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's a lot of information and free resources for everyone.
Exactly. So if one of your questions might be what could be the takeout from your talk, then it's, hey, I have, as a visitor of WordCamp, I have an open source mindset. How can I operate the great world we live in with my mindset? And blockchain could be a tool to work more open source, not only in publishing or e-commerce, because we nailed that with WordPress, of course, but everything else in doing business. And
that's wonderful. You did steal my last question.
Sorry about that.
No, that's perfectly fine. I do want to wrap up this interview by asking sort of a non-WordPress related question.
Perfect, yeah.
So throughout this conversation, I've known you just a little bit, right? But it was all more towards open source and WordPress, and obviously a little bit more insight on mindfulness and all that. But let's say if you have to say, a couple things about like your hobbies to our listeners. What would you say?
My work is my hobby, and that's true. That's everybody around me. If you ask me.
Or what do you do beside WordPress?
Yeah, I was always into my work for years, and I was a happy single for 8 years. But what happened then? I always said I was 27 by then. Hey, if I ever gonna marry, I need Rick Astley. Never gonna give you up, the singer, to have it on my wedding. But I said, I'm not gonna marry soon, so no problem.
Right.
But 3.5 years ago, I fell in love.
Aww.
I did a wedding proposal last September, and Mirko, my boyfriend, he said yes. Mm-hmm. So I have a big problem. I have to get in touch with Rick Astley.
Yes.
I'm working for 4 months already on that. But my hobby at this moment is organizing the wedding together.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And we both like tiger print, so it will be. There's a lot to organize, and I'm always using organization and the creation of stuff for website customers, the WordProof thing. Mm-hmm. And now it's so great to organize something for the people around me, for the friends and the family. So that's a great challenge for me. I never did that in this size. So
no, thank you so much for sharing that little personal things about you, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And I hope you get what you want. And
let's see. And otherwise, we will have fun as well. It's great to be together with the people around.
Yeah, so we didn't talk about this, but we'll cheers your success with some tea here from Nepali Tea Traders.
And we cheers on the good tea.
Yes.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you
for
so
your
much.
Time. Yeah.
Thank you for your time. Pleasure to be here.
Don't forget to subscribe, like and hit the bell icon to get notified every time we upload a new video.